Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Taxi! This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And we are back here on Katz and Cosby, and in the middle of all these things that we're talking about with security and this ISIS-inspired attack in New York City. Really frightening stuff. The Democrats are still blocking Department of Homeland Security funding incredibly. Well, joining us to talk about this and so much more is Kimberley Strassel with the Wall Street Journal. Kimberley, politics, it has gotten so ugly on Capitol Hill.
Hi, Rita. Yeah, no, I mean, this is, if you come to think about it, I have been shocked. There's just been this blasé attitude about the DHS shutdown, just generally, not among us and those, but just the press and everyone saying, well, it's just one department of government shutdown. It's the Department of Homeland Security, the agency charged with protecting the homeland at a time when the U.S. is ostensibly at war. And it's remarkable to me that even this has not pressured Democrats yet to move and to reopen this department. It's incredibly risky and very foolish.
Judge Weinberg.
Kim, welcome back. The problem is, are we going to have an attack and people will lose their lives, and then the Democrats can wake up and say it's the Republicans' fault?
We're beginning to see the cracks, and I think that this is at least a good sign. I see this moving now a little bit the way the government reopened last time. You have a group of moderates. It looks as though Chuck Schumer might be willing to let them go. They are looking for an off-ramp at the moment, so their new excuses, we may be satisfied with the fact that Kristi Noem is being replaced as the head of DHS. What you need is 4 or 5 who are willing to step with Republicans. But this, to me, is a sign that the party overall knows that this is the risk they are facing, what you just outlined. They're going to blame it on the moderates for going, but overall across the party, you can feel a nervousness that they are in this territory.
I mean, the American people have to have some common sense. No, nobody understands why they're doing it. I mean, Judge, you've been a Democrat for 70 years. I mean, tell us why.
Because they've lost their minds. That's why. But Kimberley, let me ask you this. You wrote a great column in the Journal last week about the Texas Senate race. And to me, the most important thing for the protection of this country as a Democrat is that the Republicans hold on to the leadership of the Senate and the House too, if possible, but certainly the Senate. And you have this race between Paxton and Cornyn. And it seems to me, as you point out in your column, Trump has wasted a lot of time getting Paxton out of this race.
Well, it's just, to me, look, I am a big fan of competition, obviously healthy political competition. But it's best when there's actually a real choice. And in my mind, you look and I cannot see, in my mind, any way that the Senate is materially changed in terms of the votes and outcomes by having a Paxton rather than a Cornyn. And yet they have spent $75 million on that primary so far in hurling insults and slurs at each other. Whoever emerges from this into the general election is already damaged at a time when we know that historically midterms tend to cut against the party that's in control, so they're working against that. Democrats have got a better nominee out of that primary than they might have got, and they are gunning for Texas. You got to play it smart in these things, and this is, to me, self-immolation at a moment when the GOP has to be a lot more clever about keeping control of the Senate.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. He hasn't decided, I guess, publicly, so we'll see where he goes.
It's Cornyn because he's a more credible candidate, and Paxton has an enormous amount of baggage.
How about this other guy, too, on the other side? What a loony.
But, people vote for loonies.
Right, and he fits that, Judge. I'll give you that.
He's absolutely. He knows nothing.
Right.
He believes there's six sexes. Right. Six sexes. Really, and this is
God's
the guy you want.
Tell them just look at New York City.
I mean, really.
Anything's possible.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's true. Right. Never say never, don't you?
Don't waste more money and effort in a runoff when you get Paxton out in corner and gets reelected.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, candidate quality matters. And, look, I appreciate all the efforts that Republicans are putting into right now and all this redistricting, et cetera. They're trying to, lay the table to make sure that they have their best chance of holding on to the House and everything. But if there's a wave coming, it's going to matter more than anything that you have good candidates who have a lot of money. And, I just sit there and think about that. $75 million. That is multiples amount of the money that were spent in Alaska 6 years ago to keep Dan Sullivan in his seat. I mean, he'd be thrilled if he had $75 million. He'd be golden. His reelection would be reassured. Instead, the Republicans are going to end up in a general election, as always, without enough money to defend all the candidates that they have up. And they're going to wish that they hadn't blown $75 million, flushed it down the toilet in a primary.
Yep.
It's just a problem.
It is a problem. Kimberly, thank you very much. We love having you on. Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Kimberly,
Bye-bye.
tell us who the president is going to endorse in Texas?
No, she didn't say it yet. We'll have to ask her next time.
Inside information.
Yeah. Any thought, Kim, real quick? Who?
You know as much as I do. I don't make guesses on Donald Trump, what he's going to do.
That's a good guess. Not to guess on it. Thank you very much, Kim.
At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in healthcare informatics, digital marketing and analytics, business analytics, or financial analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.